is a matchup that typically impresses everyone.
Yeah, it is, and it was Queso that stopped Dignitas winning that first regional, beating them in the final, and they were just a team that we thought, are they really good enough to win regionals? Yes, they absolutely were on that day, the very first one. Will they be again today? We'll have to find out, because Dignitas, Stumpy, wow. They have been in some form. Despite that loss to Endpoint earlier, they have been sublime in this tournament.
They looked brilliant against 0-0 Nation. It was 6-1, 4-1, 4-2, and then 3-2. They outshot them, I think it was 17-4. To 6 rather. It was an unbelievable team that we saw come up against them. And yet Endpoint, despite hanging out in their COO's living room, they ended up getting beaten, being sent to lowers to face off against Queso yet again. These two teams seem to have a penchant for facing off against each other. Who's going to be taking the advantage this time, though? Vatira from the country of cheese starts them off good.
Yeah, well, good start there for Team Queso. Look at the speed from Vatira. Even the unextraordinary goals that he gets come off the back of extraordinary mechanics, just putting himself in that right place. The speed of recovery to make it 1-0 to Team Queso.
I think Queso here are going to feel more confident, seeing as today, firstly, they've shrugged off the attempt at a near reverse sweep from Evil Geniuses, where there was the comeback certainly on. Queso were able to push that one away. And Dignitas, they've come from the uppers, where they have suffered a pretty big loss versus Endpoint to be here in the first place. So I think the morale certainly on the side of Queso here, but we'll see how that does end up falling. Whether the mentality is going to be enough to separate these two teams. With Vatira going up to the backboard, Joria's completely grounded. It wasn't an issue, though, as Vatira ends up missing.
I think we're going to have a slow, expansive game of Rocket League right here, with both these teams just desperate to go for the solo plays. They are feeling it, especially Dignitas. You know, the wins that they've had some absolutely stunning goals. Queso, a little bit more grindy so far, but it's good that we're seeing from Queso that they do have that in their locker to still win games when things aren't quite working mechanically. That does work for Rise mechanically, and it's 2-0 already.
Vatira moving alongside this ball, Rise rather, that was Vatira, managing to get one flip reset and then using it again to then dunk Jack on the block, meant that it was a tap-in for Joyo. Brilliant teamwork there from the two English players on that Queso roster, a team that I always forget has two English players.
Was that a cheese pun, block?
No, it was just the word block.
Like cheese, 3-0.
That is an angle that you don't see very often at all. Having the midfield send it from Rise to Vatira on the backboard, he just slices it down the middle.
Old school redirects right there from Vatira, except in the past, and putting it away. The triple threat right now for Team Queso. What a start from them, you know? I mean, I was saying that they weren't playing that hot, but what fun do they have right now in this first game?
Do you remember how good Dignitas looking against 0-0 Nation were, where we had ultimately, coming into today, 2 highlight plays from that team? And it was only Breeze that managed to knock them off that top spot. That's the Dignitas that we come to love and respect and know what they can do. Apparently Jante going for a fabled air dribble bump isn't going to come off this time. But that's the kind of Dignitas that I want to be seeing again. They did not put it up against Endpoint.
Well, that's a good pass from Rise to the ceiling. Apparently Jack is going to try and keep himself behind it, and Dignitas have to get into it, but they can turn defense into attack so quickly. Joria's with that such early shot. Apparently Jack steaming in, but good defending there from Team Queso. They've held out 1 or 2 waves of Dignitas attack. They always keep coming, but then Scrub Killer and apparently Jack and Joria's, rarely getting in each other's way. So things yet to work quite for Dignitas so far.
Very physical in that back right corner as well. Rise going for 2 flip resets. We said in the green room that Rise does just go for those flip resets to waste a little bit of time. It's perfect for that. And also just to confuse the opponents, to make them always doubt what he's got, make him respect the angles that he's able to go for. Vatira trying to sneak in a goal there as well, as Rise kind of half shoots, half goes for the pass. With Jack trying to reach it off the backboard from Joris, he's not able to. It flies high again for Rise onto the double. Gets that wonderful angle, but Jory is able to settle it away. Great fake out with the pass too, and it goes near post. That is mind games.
Dignitas have been put out of both regionals in this split so far by Team Queso, and you can see why. They just seem to have the antidote to what it is that Dignitas do so well. Keeping Dignitas scoreless in this first game when they've had these chances, they've had 5 shots between them and decent shots as well, shows that Queso, they can defend when they have to, and they just have this ability to shock Dignitas.
Looking at Dignitas' defense has just been set to a much more reluctant level where they don't want to be committing too hard to any particular ball, but then it leaves them open for these passing plays, unchallenged, uncontested in the midfield, as two defending players were able to be drawn to that ball. Queso, as you say, Cole, are the antidote, and they are doing such a good job of playing the game that they want to. And I love seeing also different cars. Joyo using that wonderful Mach E in the middle of the pitch.
You know, always fun to see a new vehicle approach the pitch, as apparently Jack takes out Vatira, but can Joyo avenge his teammate with another goal? Yes, he can. He sets up Rise. Everything is working for them.
And it was Joyo on the musty from that right wall, gets underneath it so nicely, onto the double tap as well. Scrub just lackadaisically waiting on the backboard, not wanting to go for the offensive play. And that just opens it up completely for Team Queso. They are assailing that net over and over again.
I can't imagine that Dignitas have gone 5-0, 6-0 down too many times throughout this split. Queso running riot.
Completely running riot. Scrub Killer on that attack as well, where he taps to the right wall. Jack does receive, but then it's just being smothered by Team Queso, getting on that ball as quick as they possibly can. And it's something that we saw European teams do so incredibly well throughout the entirety of any of the big events that we have seen, where they do manage to get swarming on every ball available. And we're going to be having a quick break here as there is a DC being called on the side of Dignitas. So going to make sure that they're all good and happy to play. Don't think it happened 6 goals ago, though, unfortunately, lads. So maybe we're just going to have to wait for a minute.
Yeah, I can't see this one going back to 0-0, certainly. And this is more than a game. I mean, if there was a forfeit button, I'm sure Dignitas would be quite happily pressing it. The three of them pushing their... No?
I don't think so. Purely because, and again, this is me being a massive Apparently Jack fanboy, he always says in any video, there's no real point in forfeiting if you still think you can learn something from that game. That's exactly what Dignitas are going to have to do from this point, where they're going to need to make sure that they are able to learn what Queso are doing going forward in this series.
Well, there have been a couple of issues on the players' end of things. We're seeing if they're happy to go back in. Hopefully it won't take too long to get us back into this one. And apparently Jack has just confirmed, good sportsmanship, that the goal was not affected. So we will be going back in. Not that it matters too much for the sake of this game, but, you know, still...
I feel like it's wishful thinking if he goes, yeah, I couldn't have saved it. And it's like, Jack, you were the other side anyway. And also, there's 5 others to contest. Maybe just leave that one alone.
And he did. Yeah.
So it's Team Queso quite handily taking this game, where there's a minute left. There's 6 goals to get. Apparently, the previous most allowed goals by Dignitas was 5, coming from Team Queso. They are just the team that can send so many past that usually stringent goal line.
They are just absolutely the Dignitas bogey team right now. They don't seem to have too many answers for them, with a 4-2 loss to them, and then a 4-1 loss, and then a 4-2 loss for them. And now this record-breaking goals conceded by Dignitas in the first game, which, you know, you can laugh it off. But it does just change your game plan a little bit, where no doubt they would have watched those replays back and figured out what Team Queso were doing that affected them so much. They come into this matchup, they concede 6 goals in record time, and you're thinking, okay, the game plan's out the window, let's improvise from here.
I mean, historically, the matchup between these two teams, Jory's wonderful shot, but even better save from Vatira, it has actually been even. It's been 3 apiece, but the first 3 out of that 6 were won by Dignitas, the last one being in 4, and then the most recent 3 being to benefit Team Queso, where they have won in winter twice and then over in winter 2 as well. So lots happening. It's just been Queso, though, although one has come in, not quite enough.
Vatira just went for a little spinneroonie to make that save. So, you know, maybe I'm wishful thinking here, but perhaps going for the Brazil setup, question mark? I'm sure people in chat right now are hoping that there could be one more blue goal in the next 25 seconds. This could be it. Vatira has a pass. He goes to shoot instead. There's the redirect from Joyo. Brazil is on the menu.
I am instantly looking at our statistician to say, when was the last time Dignitas got Braziled, if ever? Like this version of Dignitas, or even just Jack and Doria's. Any version of Dignitas. When's the last time, even when it was back in the day when Turtle was playing for them, when was the last time they were Brazil? Because it will not be happening often. That's 7 goals coming in for Team Queso. That is an incredible opening statement. One that I think a lot of people might look at and say, can they come back from it?
In this game, no, mate, would probably be the answer. In the series, perhaps. We'll have to see. Look at the wall breach, I think. Oh dear, what a start. Don't you ruin this, guys. If they let a goal in right now, people will not be happy. Hey, there we go. It's a Brazil to open proceedings in this best of 7, and it goes the way of Team Queso.
And Queso, what they were doing was, as I said, smothering Dignitas as much as they humanly could and getting in the way of the ball at every opportunity. Jorias, he still had 6 shots in that game. His shooting percentage yesterday during their series versus 0-0 Nation, he shot at, I believe, a 66% rate. It was an unbelievable offensive play from him, and this time, much, much worse. He does not want that to be continuing by any means. Dignitas need to earn their way back into it to then have the honor of facing Endpoint in the grand finals.
Team Queso intrigue me because you look at them attack, and they seem like one of those teams that are, constantly on the front foot. And they're going to chuck everything forward, which normally can be really effective when you're on offense. But when you need to come back, that's when things can go wrong. You leave one man back, or you leave even an open goal, right? Queso are not doing that against Dignitas at all. They're chucking all 3 men forward, but their rotations are so well timed, despite their aggression, that they seem to have 3 men back more often than not when Dignitas are coming forward. So when apparently Jack or Jorias normally go for one of these solo plays, sure, they might beat the first man, but there's 2 still back that can then make that block. So the balance that Team Queso have is so impressive, and Dignitas have got to try and figure it out in the next few games.
It's something that we see so wonderfully done by a lot of European teams where they do seem to have that, as I've described historically, the conveyor belt of teeth, where you just know that it's attack after attack after attack that is going to be flying in. And yet you're right, Cole, the defense is still there.
Really impressive so far from Team Queso, but game 2, I'm sure, will be very different indeed. We won't see a 6-goal swing right here, but we might see an early lead for Dignitas as Jorias shoots again. You'll see that 2 men were behind the ball on that goal line, just packing it, making sure that it's so difficult for Dignitas to score. Here they'll come again. Jorias towards Scrubkiller. Good passing plays now from Dignitas, trying to work that angle a little bit more just to isolate one of the Queso players.
The top team in Europe is taking it to number 2 as Joyo secures a gorgeous double tap.
You have all this pressure from Dignitas, and then another musty flick.
Right.
What? Queso were ridiculous. I said they were grinding it out in their earlier win. Now the freedom they're playing with, I did not ever think I'd see Dignitas look worse than their opponents mechanically.
Just considering that he's gone for 1 and Jory is now attempting a musty of his own, this may well become a mechanical masterclass that we look at for the ages, where this is the highest rated lobby we have seen from these players. But there's still a lot of time left and a lot of wonder goals for Dignitas to score. Jory sends that ball backwards, I would say inexcusably, but it doesn't find its way in, and Scrub is able to put the press on.
Yeah, but more good defending in the end after that mistaken pass. And Vatira can come forward. What's he got in his locker? He wants to go for another crazy play, but it's blocked in the air. That's what Dignitas are realizing. They have to charge these players down a little bit more quickly, letting them have their way, letting them have these solo plays way too close to their own goal line. And Vatira is toying with them. He's putting it on target as well. Scrubkiller saves it. Rice is coming in, tries to get it past them, but Jorias desperately sees things away.
Tell you what, though, we've seen a couple of times now, especially with Rise going for his previous reverse into the 100 boost strat and then actually working out. We have seen that the fact that they can slow down, reverse, take their time, and then go for the shot, Dignitas just aren't pushing. They are giving them acres of space, and you cannot do that.
Yeah, Queso, after surprising Dignitas of how quick they were playing, they're now actively slowing things down as well with that little Vatira slowdown that we saw. An example of that. So Dignitas, they're thinking, okay, our opponents, they're outpacing us, but at least we have the read and the download on that. Then Queso brilliantly mixed that up and just, continue to show this adaptability that they have. But Dignitas, they can adapt too, and they have had a lot more forays forward in this second game. You wouldn't back against them getting this equalizer fairly soon.
Yeah, not at all. It's been a good push from Dignitas. Jack now going for an air dribble over 1 and 2. The pinch is high. Chance Joris to shoot. No, don't hate the idea, because Jack was going for the bump on Vatira. That was a really good chance for him to get it.
Vatira, who went for another musty flick, by the way. Clearly, he's just downloaded a musty pack. And it's like, oh, so that's how you do it. And then he comes onto the competitive scene and busts out 15 in a row because he's brilliant. Rise clears it long. Is anybody on the end of it? Joya's trying to catch up, but apparently Jack is actually bypassed. To the corner it goes then towards Scrubkiller, who sets up Jorias. And Dignitas look good in this regard. They are finding these passes about 2/3 of the way down the pitch. but it's that final shot that's being closed down so well by Team Queso.
I'm impressed with the mechanics of the counterattacks that Dignitas are putting forward, where they are able to go 1, 2, 3, and suddenly they're attacking literally 2 seconds after being on the defensive. But those blocks coming in, they are shutting down Dig, and I do think a goal will come eventually out of them, but maybe more varied attacks need to be tried. Jack able to pass it to Jorias. Does get saved at the goal line by Joyo. Now chance for Scrub to get that ball central, with Vatira actually missing that touch as he thought Scrub was going to get it as well. Lets the ball get to 80 seconds remaining in this game, and still the 1-0 lead for Queso.
Everything at 50-50 at the moment as well. Dignitas, they've been so used in this tournament to being able to beat their opponents cleanly to the ball, and now all these pretty little touches, these redirects that they've been so pleased to make throughout, they're just being matched. They're being met, and the 50-50 isn't always falling to them. I want to see a little bit more. I want to see a little bit more from the player in front of the ball for Dignitas. Be a bit braver to go for those bumps and demos, and just see if you can break them up.
That entire play started with Joyo faking out the defender yet again, slowing the play down, chucking a handful of pocket sand in his face, and just making sure that he does not know where that ball is coming from. The fact that they can change up play so frequently is absolutely running riot in Dignitas' minds.
This one's wrapping around. 35 seconds left as Dignitas try to barge through and make an entrance towards the Team Queso goal. Only 1 goal for them in both games, Dignitas, and none in this one. So things starting to look a little bit desperate for them, but apparently Jack has control, wants to flick it past them, instead goes for a little air dribble. Vatira had read it with Joe behind him, he could take the risk. And then look how much time they have to get it away. 15 seconds left, Queso still holding strong.
10 seconds remaining as Vatira goes for the double tap off that right wall to send the ball further down. Only 5 now. Scrub doing a fake around, gets the boost, and instead Rise is able to challenge him again. Apparently Jack takes it to the air where this ball needs to remain, with Jorius up for 1 on the double. Vatira, he is so aware of where the threat has come from. Wow. Can get it round, and Team Queso securing game number 2.
It was a really good 1-0 there from Team Queso after they just blitzed Dignitas at the start of the first game. That one they had to work for it a lot more and show their discipline. They are I mean, obviously the goals that they've been scoring have been beautiful, right? Musty flicks all over.
The musty double tap that Joyo got in that game to be the 1 goal that snuck through is unreal.
But their defense has just been so I mean, look at this. Look at that. Filthy. But their defense has been so good, Stumpy.
I mean, realistically as well, looking at Dig in this game, there were some misplays on the defense, but they were not looking dreadful. They had an incredible goal go past them, and Scrub, when I said that they were allowing a lot of space for Vatira to shoot, he did still manage to save it. There was a bump that came in, but it's fine. It was still a good save. We can also confirm that the previous game is the first time that Dignitas as an organization have ever ended an RLCS game being Braziled. It may well have happened in previous games where they got to 7-1, but then the closest was 7-2 back in Season 7 with none of these players on the roster, but they have never finished an RLCS game at a Brazil. Team Queso setting records.
I feel like somewhere Turtle is desperately searching through Liquipedia results going, bro, I'm sure that we got Braziled once or twice. But no, Turtle, you never did. Anyway, game 3 starts with Joria's goal.
From the past to the present, this may well be the future of the game, where Joyo unfortunately whiffs, leaving Jorias able to shoot, and Dignitas opening with a lead.
Yeah, their first one of this series. A much-needed one. 9 seconds in, just to settle any Dignitas nerves. I believe they conceded the first 2 games to endpoint as well, so it's been a slow start in both series for them today. Not their best one at the office. But we know they can fix it. We know they've got the brains as well as the brawn to think what's going wrong. But when you're up against Rise, he's got the mechanics to get past you, no matter how good your mindset is. Beaten away for now. Vatira attempts it. Jory is closing down really quickly. And apparently, Jack, that is a lovely touch. Joyo did read it, but that just changed the pace so quickly for Dig, who seemed to be starting to make the conversation happen a bit more.
Jack is also intelligently chasing a lot of players down on the blue side of the pitch, where he can knock them out the way and open up the shooting avenues for his teammates. Jory's for the flip reset. That's just managed to get it past the halfway line until Rise has a say, and now Vatira hunting for his own bumps.
I want to see a little bit more from Scrub Killer right now. We've seen it in the past for Dignitas, where if Jory and apparently Jack, their solo plays aren't quite coming off. They're being read, they're being closed down. Ooh, whatever's happening. That one snuck over Scrub, though. It's 1-1.
I don't think he anticipated that shot coming in. I look from his perspective, where Joyo gets a failed flip reset, and then yet Rise just pinches it off Jack and it shoots out the net. Scrub is about 1 car length too far forward, but very excusably so. He was moving to the corner where the ball would go 99 times out of 100. Not Scrub's fault, just a brilliant challenge from Rise to send it in.
Joyo could make it 2-1 here with a good dunk. Gets a block on it. Vatira is flying in, fearless right now from Team K. So look at the speed of Rise, going across the pitch. From one side of it, the width to the next. Comes on point for them, but it's still 1-1. Good pass there from Joris. Was apparently Jack who tries to get it to the near post, but Joyo gets himself in the way, and even the bumps with Dignitas aren't working. No matter what they're trying, Queso are finding a way to squeeze their way out, keeping it at 1-1, and they're starting to take control here. Rise, what a touch! But Joris gets there before any Queso attackers.
So much off-ball play happened for Rise to get the opportunity where he goes down the wall, holds his flip, and then saves it to go over the top. Brilliant stuff as Jory is now forced into a defensive position. Queso now trying to have to work around this Dignitas defense, where previously they got a wonder goal and it was lovely, and that was what won it for them. They need to get at least one more to win this game and set Dignitas on that reverse sweep train.
What I was saying earlier was when Joris and apparently Jack, their mechanics aren't quite working. That is when Scrub can become the focal point of their attack and be maybe not quite as mechanical, but certainly have good shooting and striking, but he's still pinned back on defense. He's blocked that one. Apparently Jack gets his way. Dribbles it away. He's got no boost, though, but still the 50-50 has played well. But he's left all alone. Apparently Jack playing the wrecking ball, but it falls for nothing for his teammates.
His teammates were thinking a little bit too far back when they wanted to have that ball fall a bit nicer to them, where they weren't necessarily in position. So Jack, yeah, you're right, left out in no man's land for him. But Jory is now at the backside, can send it high above Rise.
I like that.
Can challenge versus Vatira. Yeah, cutting out one player in the midfield and getting it above them is something that I think Dignitas have not been doing so far, because they're just getting pre-jumped. Chance, though, for this counter-attack from Queso to fill up into a goal. A couple of bumps, but teamwork, defense keeps this equal.
Scrub killer now to the ceiling. Apparently Jack is in front of him. He tries to get the angle to find him. Apparently Jack fakes it. Rise can't get a touch. Jorius is arriving. He has so much goal to aim for, but Rise is covering so much more. More good saving from Team Queso as that Dignitas pressure just hints at exploding. Jorius to the ceiling. Will there be a Dignitas touch next? Apparently Jack closes it. And who's going to take control of this ball? It's neither of them. And Queso continue to survive.
Look at Jack just stay up in that blue half and just wait for these opportunities to shoot. Jorius off the crossbar top right isn't able to get it in, but Jack playing that nonsense, annoying role where he can just nip at the ball on the heels of his opposition.
One pass too many there from Jorius, though, and then one big boomed ball from Rise. Might set himself up for a finish with 1 minute and 15 seconds left. I do want to see, I think something you mentioned earlier, Stumpy, there was just a big boom from Jorius and we praised it. I completely agree. Just take out the midfield, try and make Queso turn round like this, get it over that first man, and maybe you can make something happen.
It slows them down, it sends them on the back foot, and whilst they're still going to play very well on defense, it means that the game plan is not necessarily theirs anymore. It also means that with the amount of pre-jumps they're doing, they're going to feel like they can't do that as much anymore, or if they keep doing it, then they're going to waste boost for a ball that never finds them.
This one has, though, found Rise, and he's done the first job, which is to avoid getting dunked. Jorius just drops it down. He's definitely playing things a little bit more simply as Jorius, trying to get distance between himself and the ball on his goal, and the ball more importantly. Big booming balls there from Dignitas, trying to get rid of it. But here's Vatira, gets a flip reset, plus Scrub killer, maybe. No, well defended from Scrub. He stood up tall with 25 seconds left.
Brilliant composition from him, and Jory is diving across the goal line, keeps that ball out and keeps it neutral. Vatira tries to pass to Joyo as Jory is on that left ball, then has to receive. With Jack on the left side, keenly chases the ball. Joyo wards off that attack, however, as it falls central yet again. Vatira to the right wing. Jack is the man to receive. Scrub flicks it onto goal, but Rise allows it to drop. Overtime in the third.
It was a lovely idea at the end there. I think they were trying to hit, apparently, Jack. Maybe that would be like a forced redirect. But it didn't happen, and Dignitas have been getting closer and closer in general throughout these games. It's Queso that finished that one better, though. One more goal, and this series starts to look beyond reach for Dignitas. 3-0 down. Not playing too well. Joe can make it happen. It's a good shot. It's a good enough shot. And it is 3-0 for Team Queso.
Vatira's horrible positioning here, if you're a Dignitas defender, means that he just can't go. He blocks out Jory as he means that Scrub is suddenly middle of the net when he needs to go to the left. But Vatira plants his big Queso-shaped flag there and says, not today.
Yeah, the creativity again from Team Queso. Dignitas, they just cannot deal with them. on the day, and that was more of that grindy sort of victory. I mean, their top scorer in that game was Vatira, no goals. The only Queso player on the team not to have scored, and he got the most points, just showing how involved he was in everything. That's really tough for Dignitas, Stampy. I believe they still have their timeout. Surely they've got to take it now.
Well, considering their early lead as well, mentality-wise, it's really hard to deal with. And also Jory is thinking, I'm in a fine position here, I can save this ball away. And then you get bumped by an invisible Vatira is a really scary position to be in. And they do it. And Dignitas do not take their tactical timeout. We head straight into game number 4, thinking they can will their way through instead. The mentality of Dignitas is next to nothing. Oh, sorry, next to no one, rather. It's literally the opposite of what I said. It is one of the best in the game, where they are able to think through these situations and figure out what it is they need to do. This, however, is crunch time on Utopia.
Surely they can't go out to the same team in 3 different tournaments in a row, each of which everybody was saying, wow, Dignitas, they're the team in form. Then they come up against... It's just... They can't let that happen. But they have so much work to do to Dignitas to make sure that doesn't happen. Apparently Jack getting some dribbling time on the ball would be a good start. Joris tries to just dodge that one in, but closed down so quickly again. And then look, he's already redirecting it. This might be Rise. Oh, so close. Joyo might finish it. He does get the goal, but I'm just disappointed at what could have been.
Look at that link up from Vatira. If Rise got his nose on that, he had 0 boost and couldn't make it, but everyone on Dignitas thought the exact same thing. They were only looking at Rise and seeing where his path was taking him, and Joyo is able to take advantage of the distracted defense. An opening goal for Queso gives them the lead.
Dignitas still in this 4th game, but not the start they wanted. It might be even worse. Vatira's flip reset just dribbles its way past the post. And Dignitas are left looking stagnant in defense. They're not moving quickly enough. They can't get any momentum on their plays. Here's some, though. Joris, the backboard, he follows it. Nothing's working. It's not going in. Here comes apparently Jack. He must score. And Dignitas equalize quickly.
I've got to say, I'm worried that Joris didn't think this, in all honesty. Maybe aiming deliberately for the sidewall because he knew the block was coming in, which, again, I would not doubt whatsoever. And Jack is there to read that post bounce too. Always talking about how important those post bounces are in competitive Rocket League. And he is now the benefactor of one of them. Jory is on the kickoff. Yeah, that demo play coming in as well, straight from the kickoff.
Yeah, really good kickoff there from Dignitas. They're still trying what they can
demos.
more. Yeah. This is what we want to see. Yes, Dignitas, get yourselves involved. Make this one a series. Nobody wants it to be 4-0, and we know how much entertainment we can mine between these 2 teams. Well, I say nobody. 3 players who want to.
And their entire fan base.
Yeah, well, you know, those guys. But everyone apart from them wants to see a Dignitas game right here. But that one hits the post.
Opportunity for Team Queso on the other side of things to cement their #1 spot. They're there already in points, but maybe the belief is still yet to come from the rest of Europe. Great drop down for Scrub to no one, though, but Jorius, he actually was there. A touch there than I anticipated. I think the same for Team Queso. Dignitas push, though, was looking very confident. Vatira leaving that ball, didn't think that he could go for it, didn't want to waste the boost with just a dream. I respect the idea. Joy up for the air dribble challenges Jory on that backboard as well. With Vatira going central, Rise can fake. He just using Dignitas in the palm of his hand like Play-Doh.
Yeah, Rise has always been the metronome that guides Queso through their attacks. He is the one that makes that decision to let the ball roll across his car and get themselves in different positions, because then when he does unleash the pass, it can be so dangerous. Vatira is trying to bully it home. Somehow Dignitas get it away. Yet again, another fake from Rise. Here comes Joyo. He didn't quite read it. But Rise, yeah, he has got Dignitas' defense dangling on a string.
A lot of players in this game wear their hearts on their sleeves, where you think what they do on the pitch is exactly what they wanted to do, and they don't try and trick anybody else. Rise seems to have a box under his bed full of fake sleeves, where you think that's the one that he's going to do, and no, he just pulls it over your eyes and you have no idea what to expect. He is a maestro with misdirection.
Constantly pulling out cards out of his sleeves that he wears his hearts on that are trapped under his bed is our boy Rise. Okay, so keep on trying. Here's Rise again, another little fake past Jory. It's only Jory, you know, what damage can he do? What he can do is try and set up Apparently Jack, but I think there was a side flip right there for Apparently Jack. Now it's Queso that take to the skies. Vatira, can he get this last little prod that he needs? Yeah. Yes, he can. 2-1 Queso.
Yet more leads developing for Queso, where Vatira uses a huge amount of boost and still gets the flip reset to go under scrub and into the goal. It took 2 defenders to not even shut him down.
I didn't even realize that was a flip reset. I thought it was just a classic dunk until the replay. There you go, a classic dunk like that one that he just got on Scrub Killer. Then going for the redirect. A minute and 40 seconds. Dignitas still trying to get involved. Rise to the side right here. Here we go. Joyo. He goes to the backboard himself. Team Queso, Stumpy, they are just playing so well right now.
They're doing everything they need to, and Dignitas are attempting to shut them down in any avenue they possibly can. Rise, though, sending it central. Vatira to jump across that goal line. 80 seconds remaining. Stands between Queso and the grand finals.
Oh, Joyo, another brilliant touch, but Scrub Killer desperately gets it away. Queso are opening up so much space on the pitch right now. Vatira leaves it for Joyo.
Clever.
It sneaks its way in. Queso surely making the finals.
Time and time again, it looks like Team Queso tried to go for one play, they back out of it, and yet that sniper's nest is waiting. Joyo finds the bottom right and the 3rd goal. That is something that Team Queso are doing so well. The game is being played at their pace.
Gregan and Subi, for all the cheese they were eating on the desk, I don't think they believed this would be a 4-0, a sweep against the might of Dignitas. But with 50 seconds away from that happening, Jorius tries to tee up his teammate, but look at the pace from Rise and the recovery as well. Chasing it down the wing, actually getting a touch on it in that corner. Scrub Killer barges his way through, desperate to get this next touch, but it's only Vatira that it falls to. Apparently Jack tries now. Nothing is happening for Dignitas. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's an own goal. Something going their way, but no, still not quite.
The fluidity of Team Queso to flow around this pitch so energetically is the difference between these two teams. With 20 seconds left, Dignitas need to break that fluidity, and they need the ice to do so. Instead, Dignitas and Jack move back to their own half. 10 seconds remain. 2 goals is too far to come back from, and Team Queso will be your grand finalists.
Unless, Stumpy Goblin, you went for it, mate, but we've still got 3 seconds left thanks to this one.
God damn it. Team Dignitas never stop pushing, and Jack receiving the pass from Jorius.
Here we
gives
go.
it up for a single goal and a single chance.
We saw the Spanish kickoff earlier, the big demo coming in after the fact. Will it be the case again? No, it's a huge kickoff from Rise, who leans back in celebration. Oh, not quite yet. My turn now to preempt the victory. Scrub Killer tries to find Jorius. The pass is good. Apparently Jack can connect with this one.
No.
Apparently Jack just to the side. The ball remains up though. Scrub Killer underneath it. He just sends it high. How much boost do they have in the reserves? What can Dignitas do? Queso have been practicing their drop shot. They drop it down, and they make our finals.
A 4-0 sweep. Team Queso, the #1 team in Europe, absolutely smashed Dignitas out of the competition. The lower bracket final falls to Queso, and they will be attempting to get that bracket reset versus Endpoint.
And it's almost poetic that the heir apparent Team Queso, the new EU #1 seed, come up against Endpoint in that grand finals. The #1 EU seed from that first split. Everything coming full circle. The 2 French phenoms up against each other in that grand finals. Practice for Los Angeles in the major. Just 2 teams that are going to be going at it, Stumpy, desperate to get this victory.
I said at the top of the series that the cash money is what they were fighting for, and realistically, it is. As well as the prestige, the seeding is locked. Queso are #1, Endpoint, they are #4. We know that now. But what is going to change is the opinion of Queso on the international stage and the amount of respect that this series may well garner them. Same for Endpoint. This is where they show every other region what to be scared of. What is it that European Rocket League is able to offer the world stage? For Queso, it's going to be the gameplay at their own pace, where they are being so quick and so fast and making everything play down to the Queso style. For Endpoint, it's countering that. It's showing off what an individual can do when he has got 2 cannons on either side of him. This grand final, Cole, I'm personally happy that I'm not casting it, so I can just sit back and watch and admire the games.
Yeah, the blue of Endpoint versus the yellow of Team Queso as well. A thing of absolute beauty. And you only have to wait a few more minutes to watch it. So go get yourself some drinks, get yourself some slices of cheese. Endpoint v Queso is coming right up.